Hi, everyone.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome to Sunday's Better Than Brunch.
Yay. We have a theme song?
I don't have one today. I'm sorry.
It's the sound of sun.
Wait. Don't you brunch without me. Don't you go brunching without me.
I just want to be like, yeah, free spray.
Okay.
Well, it is great to see you all this Sunday, and we have a special treat today for Better Than Brunch. We're going to co-opt it a little bit with how my friends failed at flirting. And so all the brunch... my book, How to Fail at Flirting, comes out December 1, which is so close. And we're really excited to talk about flirting fails. And I know these ladies, and I know they're going to be amazing. So without further ado, who wants to share a flirting fail story for our brunch crowd?
I'll go first because mine's short, but it's sweet. So I haven't dated in a while. But one of the ones that I remember very vividly in my head still to this day is I was about 19 years old and I was at a warehouse party, and it was probably 3 o'clock in the morning. And I had just moved to Las Vegas somewhat recently, so I still didn't know a lot of people yet. But I was starting to talk to this group of people, and we were sort of on friendly terms, and it was a Valentine's Day party. And so this girl came up to me and she asked me if I wanted a lollipop. And I said, yeah, that'd be great. And so we started talking and we were talking. And then she asked me for my phone number and I gave her my number. And then I asked her for hers and she gave it to me. And we were talking a little bit more. And then that was it. And that we had spent like probably a good couple of hours just talking to each other. And then we totally did not reconnect because I moved to a different state like pretty soon after that. But then when I came back, we reconnected and she told me that she was like asking me for my number and like had purposefully like given me the lollipop, like flirting with me, like trying to like see like, and then she felt so bad because we never talked. And I felt so bad because I totally would have just been like, hell yeah. But we ended up like to this day, we're still just the best of friends. And it's just so funny because like it went right over my head. Like I was like, oh, candy, this is awesome.
That's actually really sweet.
Yeah, it was so, but like my flirt radar is just like, I can never tell. I'm like, oh, someone's just being nice to me. They're being my friend. But no, it was more than that. But yeah, that was how I failed. A big fail.
I love it. That's so sweet. But you guys are still like besties.
Yeah. Like, I mean, it's hard because we're all in different places and everything. But whenever we see each other, we can go like 5 years without seeing each other. And the minute we see each other, it's one of those relationships where you just start talking like you saw them yesterday. So those are rare, I think. It's nice.
Yeah. They are, yeah.
Aww. Yeah. But how about
I guess I could go next. I think I was in my early 20s. This was on Illinois State University campus, and I'm feeling myself walking around the downtown area, being cute and slender, and the old days. And there's this great little lunch place that me and the girls would always go to called the Garlic Press. And, you get sandwiches there or whatever and coffee. There was a really cute boy that worked behind the counter who was like, it was a hipster place. So everybody kind of had that hipster vibe. And he had like skinny shorts and like a stripe bow neck shirt. Very like frail looking, because that was what I was attracted to at that age. And I just thought like, oh my god, he's so dreamy. What should I do, guys? And they were like, I don't know, you should go over and talk to him. And I was like, I've got one better. I don't know where I got this dumb idea from, but I wrote my phone number on the inside of a bottle cap. And I thought it'll be like a nice keepsake, and it'll have my phone number on it. And it came from a bottle of Fanta. I don't know. And I gave it to him. No, first of all, he was like making sandwiches behind the counter, so I had to like stand there and wait until he had a free moment where he wasn't like busy doing his job. And I was like, hey, I just want to say, like, you're really cool, and I really enjoyed my sandwich that you made, and you know.
At least you didn't just like throw the bottle cap at him and
No, I did it even more. I slid it across the counter. I slid it across the counter like I was making him an offer on something. He picks it up and he was like, oh, cool. Do you want me to like throw this out?
He thought it was trash?
what'd you say?
I was too mortified to see anything. So I was like, yeah, could you? And he pitched it because at that moment I was like, am I really going to tell him my phone number is on the inside of this thing? Like, do I have the balls to actually complete these steps? I've already stood here in line watching him make sandwiches and waiting to talk to him. And I think in that time I had kind of like, the confidence kind of like dissipated. And yeah, as soon as he said, would you like me to throw this away? And I was like, yeah, you might as well. This is stupid.
Here's what you don't know. He dug it out of the trash. He still has it to this day as a keepsake of the moment that never was. He's written a great novel about longing and hoping
Nope.
and Fanta.
Nope.
And one day you will meet at a publishing event.
The event
So that's-
traumatized him so much for not calling you that he's never been able to drink soda again. Like, he's had to go
Well, I hope so, but
He
I
had
was
purely water and vodka his whole life, which really fueled the book.
That's my story.
I wasn't going to tell one, but when you were talking, I did think of one because I've done 10 of these, how my friends failed at flirting. So I've had to come up with 10 stories. But I did remember this one. I was flying. I don't remember where I was flying, but like because of a storm, the whole like eastern seaboard was shut down, all flights canceled. And so I was in the DC airport. And first of all, like I sort of made eye contact over this guy while a bunch of us were Lord of the Fliesing over an outlet to charge our phones. And so I thought we had like this great, like, hey, little side smile, little eye connection. Let me elbow this teenager out of the way so I can get this outlet to charge my phone. And like, I was like, okay, this guy's kind of cute. We're stuck in an airport. This could be a good meet cute. But then I had to go to my gate. He had to go to his gate. And I was like, oh, it never was. Well, we ended up, our gates were next to each other. And once again, I thought we had this eye contact, little smile, little hey over the Cinnabon. For the next 4 hours, our two flights, they just like kept moving them back and forth to gates and switching them. I
Oh
don't know why they kept
no.
doing this, but it was like, okay, swap, swap, swap. But we were always like right next to each other. And so eventually they like called that our flights were going to take off and everybody was cheering because we had this camaraderie. And I was like, oh my gosh, it was so great to like hang out with you. And he's like, do I know you? This whole like romance in my head with our eye contact and like the little smiles, and he had not even like registered that I was there.
Why did he have to say it like that?
I had this whole
Do I-
story written like,
Do I know you?
I'm sorry, do we know each other? Do I know you? Oh. There were a lot of us in the gate, so maybe he was smiling at his true love over my shoulder that whole time. Maybe it was, maybe he had a connection with the teenager who I elbowed to get out of the way. But I was like, how wonderful would this be if this love story was fueled between gate 4B and 417C or whatever.
Oh my God.
It's traumatic. I really thought like my flirting game was on point.
So rude.
I was like, we were working it. We had the scent of Cinnabon between us, sir. That is sacred.
That's right.
Nothing.
So that actually jogged a memory for me of an airport flirting moment. And this is not the story I'm going to tell, so I'll do this one first. But like I was at Dallas Fort Worth Airport, sitting in the Papados in Concourse A at the bar, having a drink, just sipping on my little margarita or whatever it was. And this really sexy man like sits like 3 or 4 seats over, and he's got like the salt and pepper and this really nice smile and like one side dimple and everything. So we're eyeing each other, whatever. And he has like a moment where he sneezes and like this giant snot bubble comes and then he won't look at me anymore. So it was, I mean, you couldn't have written that. It was so embarrassing for him, I know. And like I just kind of packed up my stuff.
Oh my gosh, what if that was Cherish's guy all grown up? He had his number already written on a bottle cap for you.
He may have. Poor guy.
You didn't offer him a napkin?
He had one. But like after he like wiped his face down, like he was just kind of like he was too embarrassed. So I just kind of like let it be and walked away. But he was a good looking man.
Oh, damn.
I know how you bridge, you're like, I'm into it. It's
right,
fine.
right. Like snot bubble if you're out there. See.
We'll call you SB.
Yes, SB.
Oh God.
But that's not the story that I planned to tell. So
yeah, because that was his fail.
That was, but like really, all the stories I have to tell are all fails because the way that I fail at flirting is I attract really weird people, like lots
like
of
us.
No, you guys are the cream of the crop, but these people that I meet are just, maybe it's my judgment in bothering to even meet them. Maybe I'm missing the red flags, but there are a lot. You guys have heard a lot of my stories, but this one is one I have not told you before. So when I turned 30, I was really, really, really trying to find someone. I'd gotten out of like a really long relationship that didn't work out, even though we had been kind of on the marriage track or whatever. And I wanted something serious. And so I decided to, put myself out there. So I decided to try online dating, and I tried a couple of different sites, and then I found one where I felt like I was meeting some interesting people. And so I started flirting with this guy on there who was a writer. And so we would write like these really cute stories back and forth to each other as our way of like flirting, which I thought was so cool.
It is.
Nothing in his profile read as a red flag. So we decided to meet up. And of course, where do we go? We go to Barnes & Noble for our first date and meet at the coffee shop there and walk around and buy some books and everything. It was so cute.
Perfect date.
I love things like that. And so the when we meet, the first red flag is he, in one moment, kind of fell into talking about himself in third person. That was a flag. I didn't immediately walk away because it was only in one sentence, but it was a little odd. And then we get to the coffee shop and we're sitting down and we're enjoying our lattes, and he's telling me about, his writing during the day. And he's like, oh, well, I moonlight as an entertainer. And I was like, oh, what do you do? And he's like, well, I'm a budding rapper. And now in my mind, that should have been red flag number 2, because at 30 years old, you should not be a budding rapper. I'm just saying, I'm not trying to tell you how to live your life, but if you have been trying and trying and trying and you are now 30, maybe you should hang up the microphone. I'm just saying. So anyway, I was like, oh, well, have I heard anything you've done? And he said, well, I don't know. I'm on the internet. And I was like, oh, cool. And I was like, so what kind of rapping do you do? Are you like super West Coast? Like, what's your situation? He said, well, I mean, I am distinguishable. And I said, okay. What does that mean? And he said, well, I'm one of the only to do it. And I was like, well, what do you do? And he said, I rap with a puppet. And I said, like a puppet. And he was like, yeah. And I was like, so like, are you like just chilling there and the puppet's rapping? He said, I'm not a therapist. And I was like, oh, excuse me. I didn't mean to offend you.
What is with the attitude?
Well, apparently that's a really offensive thing. Like, there's puppet masters and there are ventriloquists, and they are different, okay? So just keep that straight, people. But this guy, like, he's like, yeah. And so I was like, well, so you said you're on the internet. And he pulls up a video and he pulls it on his phone. And I was like, okay. So it's him looking like the way he normally does, except he's in like a satin button-up shirt and sunglasses. And then his puppet is sitting on his lap. And I swear to God, this thing looked like Ernie with a fade and a leather jacket. Ernie from Sesame Street. Like Bieber, like that guy. But like, so they're like, so it's them rapping together. Okay. Like they do the songs together, and so they'll be like, yeah, bitch. Like they're doing all these things together.
The chair fell out of her chair.
What?
How did this happen? I'm curious. I appreciate the creativity, but
I want to go find him on YouTube.
I so want to go find him.
It's out there somewhere. I think he took some of his videos down, but I'm sure it's somewhere out there. But it was definitely a failure on my part several times over, because clearly I missed the signs.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have questions already. So, do you know if the puppet had a name?
I think it did, but I don't remember what it was.
And how was the puppet dressed? Was there like a gold chain? Was there like...
There was definitely a leather jacket. The collar was up, right? Like, it's got a little fade. It's a real short haircut. Like, it wasn't the same color as Ernie. He was slightly more pinkish.
And did this...
The content of the rapping. What were they rapping
Well,
about?
So it was like...
Oh, yeah, bitch.
But it was like he would basically do, I think, like rap covers, because I don't remember him doing original content. So
It wasn't even an original rapper of puppet.
I don't know. Well,
Okay.
He's scared to put his original stuff out there and have copyright issues. I don't know, but I'm trying. That's the biggest benefit of the doubt I can give him right now. But anyway.
So they're going back and forth, he and Puppet, but he is moving his lips.
Both of them are.
Okay.
Both of them are talking at the same time.
Can you tell me how to get to Sesame Street? Yeah, bitch.
Yeah.
I said a hip hop, a hippity hop hop, hip hop, you don't stop the rock. Oh no. Okay, so did the puppet look professional? Like could you tell like if a production company made it, or did it look janky as fuck?
It looked like he bought it like off of Sesame Street. Like Ernie had a cousin who was like on the show or was supposed to be on the show and got canceled because he was too hood.
I wonder if he brings the puppet to bed.
I don't want to know that at all.
And maybe he would have gotten you one for like your birthday, and then you would have had to force them.
Oh no! Ew!
Oh my gosh!
Puppet.
I don't know this guy, but I'm guessing he doesn't like to share the spotlight. I think it would have just been him and the puppet, but they act as a unit.
Right.
What he does, the puppet does.
Oh no!
Well, because
really quickly,
he sounded like really spicy when he said we're distinguishable. Yeah. Like
he was like really defensive about it, and you know, like that was his thing. So you can't be like getting things confused. Okay, like they are an ensemble. It is not a ventriloquist act.
But I think it's really interesting to like assume the general population is very familiar with the nuances of your profession. Like in general, I think that's a little bit cocky. Yeah. I don't assume that other people know what I'm talking about when I talk about the politics of my job.
Right. Well, he took it further because he said, I rap. He said, I said, I rap with a puppet, not as a puppet. So,
but technically, don't you rap as a puppet if you are voicing a puppet and rapping?
If you are voicing a puppet, yes. But since he's not, they're rapping together. And
he is the voice of the puppet. Like,
I mean, there's no reasoning with this.
Really. Truly.
Is the only difference that one projects their voice and the other one's just sitting there talking, moving?
Yeah.
I think that's ventriloquism.
That's
ventriloquism. Like,
and
when you can
not because he and the puppet are sharing his voice, and
so they're like going at the same time.
They're both talking together.
Then what's the fucking point? Like, how impressive is that?
It's
really
distinguishable.
I'm just thinking of Arrested Development, Job and Franklin the puppet.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. It shows hand-mouth coordination.
Barely.
Gosh, that makes me want to write a book about a grizzled old puppeteer.
It would probably be better than this situation.
A grizzled old Joe Top puppet. Joe Top Pup.
Now I'm just thinking of all the songs that he could have covered. Like...
where it had at least two people singing, or it didn't matter because
right.
I sort of feel like Rico Suave would have been in the repertoire. That's not exactly rap, but I just feel like
my first thought is California Love. You got, famously two rappers. I feel like that would be. I would watch that. I would watch him and his puppet try to be Tupac and Dr. Dre at the same time.
I mean, and let's be fair, we've watched weirder things on YouTube in quarantine and been very obsessed with it. It seems like it would do well on TikTok.
True.
So, like, maybe this guy is now a TikTok all-star.
Could be.
Joe Top Pup is tearing it up. That's the name of his show.
Yeah. Oh, but I feel like you still dodged a bullet.
Oh. Several. One could assume several. Thank you guys for sharing your flirting fails. That was top choice.
He had his puppet around when he wasn't rap. Like, was this his buddy all the time?
Was the puppet with you on the date?
It could have been. He was wearing a backpack.
It was in a duffel bag.
What if the puppet popped out of the back?
Oh my god, I would have died. For real.
Hey, Tosh.
Imagine.
So, Denise, how does it feel?
We gotta talk about Denise's book.
Yes.
We're gonna talk about my book after the rapping puppet.
I feel like maybe that's what you need at your book birthday debut is a puppet.
Oh man, that is the downside of not being able to have in-person events, is no wrapping puppets at your parties. I guess
No.
they're wearing a mask. A friend of mine is planning me an in-person party the week of launch. It's going to be in a parking lot on our campus, and people can drive by. So it's December in Iowa, so holding out for decent weather, but that should be really fun. And like, it's at our stadium parking lot, so there's a lot of room if people want to sit on the hood of their car and yell across the expanse at each other.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
That's really fun. So really excited. My friend is doing that.
Well, and Denise did a wonderful.
You're still making it work.
Denise did a wonderful
Oh.
book reveal. So, would you like to show off your beautiful cover?
Da, 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 da,
Both of them.
Yes.
So
The US cover, the UK cover is behind me right here. So I've been excited to like be able to share these for several months, but like holding the book in my hands is just like surreal. And I've just been staring at it for 2 days straight and will continue to do that. So I'm like excited and nervous and just like ready for the book to be out there and people to get to see it and hopefully buy it, because that would be cool too. Yeah, it's weird. It's one of those author moments I wasn't quite ready for, even though I thought I was ready for it. Also, my son was hitting me in the face with the bubble wrap at the time, so that stopped some of the tears because I was battling a paper cut across my face from bubble wrap. That's the author life with a 4-year-old. So
He was looking out for you. He's like, don't make a fool of yourself on camera.
check yourself. I'm the star of the show. He didn't have a puppet, but he could have a puppet.
Gosh.
Yeah, so I am like super appreciative of everybody for celebrating with me, and
We're so happy to, because we've all
making its way through the mail. It'll probably get to Cherish in 3 months.
I'll be waiting.
Everybody else should get it soon. Yeah, that's what I got. It's book time.
tell everyone a
Well,
little bit about How to Fail at Flirting in case they have not pre-ordered yet, which you should, because you have a week. That's it. And then
You
it's
do.
done.
You have a little time, but you can order it after it's out too. So you've got infinite time.
Yeah.
Maybe not infinite. Like this week would be great. So How to Fail at Flirting, if you haven't heard about it, haven't heard me talk about it, is about Dr. Nia Turner, who's a professor in math education. And she's on the other side of an abusive relationship and still healing from that, and wants to kind of get out of the rut and the way she's closed herself off, wants to try to get out of that. And as a type A, makes a to-do list, because that's what type A's do when they need to do something. So on this to-do list is things like flirt with a stranger and take some risks. And she ends up meeting a handsome stranger at a bar who kind of provides a great opportunity to flirt and to maybe check off that have sex with a stranger one. That doesn't work out. She kind of fails at the one night stand thing, but doesn't fail in falling in love. And so the love story is really between her and this stranger, Jake, who has some of his own baggage. And so along throughout the story, Nia flirts with him, but also flirts with a little bit of career ruin, flirts with some possibilities for herself, ultimately flirts with falling in love and kind of reinventing herself. So that's a little bit of the book. There's some heavier content with it. Nia's a survivor. And so on my website, I do have detailed content warnings. If you haven't seen those or want to see those before you buy it, it's pretty steamy, less sexy scenes. And I love it. So it's my debut and I'm excited for it to be in the world.
perfect.
So
Oh my God, you got the elevator pitch down.
Just how I do.
Well,
Or I've practiced
we've
it
all
several times.
true. We've already read it, so we can honestly say we can put our stamp of approval on. Is there a brunch stamp that we need to make a brunch stamp? Stamp it? Okay, great. We approve it. It's lovely, it's poignant, it's spicy, it's got a little kick to it, and it's just an all-around lovely tale of a woman trying to take chances and get hers.
And there's a cinnamon roll hero, which you can eat at brunch.
Duh.
All came around. And there's tube sausage, which you can figure out that euphemism.
What was?
Oh my goodness.
Lord. All right.
The drinks that your cousin's been making, which one would you say, like, what would you have on your debut day?
Well, my cousin who is a librarian, she coordinates events for the Howard County Library System in Maryland. I'll be doing an event with them on the 5th. Has created 9, I think, How to Fail at Flirting cocktails. I feel like I should have all of them on launch day. Other people will be driving me around. But I have some champagne chilling, some Prosecco. There's several gin cocktails. So I really have the fixins to make all of them. I might need to pick up some bourbon, but there's one that's a nightcap that I think I'll close out my day with. That's got Aztec chocolate bitters and bourbon.
Ooh.
And a couple other ingredients. So yeah, I don't know. I've just got a bunch of champagne chilling.
That sounds like
Gathering
something
in
you
our
could.
house, so.
That nightcap sounds like something you could have warm. Like.
Yes. And actually, we're going to hand out some of the ingredients for it at our parking lot party. So we're like, can't serve you alcohol because we're in this parking lot, but go home and make this drink. Here's some chocolate to go with it.
Nice.
That's so nice of you.
So that's all my friend who's throwing the party and my amazing cousin who's come up with these recipes. So some of those will be on my website. If you haven't joined my newsletter, like sign up for that and I'll send some of those out sometimes. And then I have some stuff coming out for book clubs that'll have a few other recipes in it.
You've also got some book events coming in the next week, like on your launch and like the week in the days coming after that. So people should check out those dates and register for some Zoom stuff.
Yeah, and on December 1, I'll be chatting with Nicole Perkins, who was one of the co-hosts for the Thirst Aid podcast, and I'm so excited to chat with her. And then immediately following ours, Alyssa Cole's launch event is happening because her new book, How to Catch a Queen, which is amazing, is out. So if you want to just fill your Tuesday night with some joy and love and bookishness, lots of Black women, got it. We got you. And then there's a lot of other ones listed on my website on the 9th. That next week, I will be doing an event with some fellow Berkeley authors at the Barclay Hotel. Barclay, not Berkeley, in New York, and just chatting it up with Alyssa K. Adams and Alexa Martin and one more person who will come, Jen DeLuca. So that should be fun. And yeah, like you're going to see my face a lot in the next week and then not after that for a while. I mean, y'all will because we get together every week, but the general public, seeing my face will be optional after that point. So I'm ready for it. I'm excited. I got my cocktails. I got a wine glass with the book cover on it to just be sipping on.
Woo!
I know, I should have brought it. This is just Diet Coke. It's not branded for the book.
Oh man, we need a Coca-Cola sponsorship.
No, we really do. I could write a romance novel that took place in the world of Coke.
I could too. You guys, let's chip in. Let's get some Coke money.
Because they could meet upstairs when they're young. Okay, I got a whole new grizzled story. A grizzled old visitor to the Coke Museum. And there's that one flavor when you can go upstairs and you try all the flavors. I think it's the Beverly. It's an Italian. And most people don't like it. But everybody who's been there before is like, try this one to their friends. They're like, it's really good. Try this one. And then your friend tries it. And usually they're like, I don't like it. And you're like, ha! Okay, I was a teenager, but I think that holds true for most people. So they can meet on the tasting floor. They have Fanta, so circles around. There could be a puppet, some candy. Like all of our stories could come in together and they could meet on the tasting floor of the world of Coke. But it's not meant to be. They trick each other into drinking this soda and then they say farewell. And 20 years later, they're back at the world of Coke, supervising their kids' field trips. And their eyes meet over the Beverly because both of them have always gone to that soda in hopes that they would run into the other, and then one day they do.
Oh my gosh.
A bottle cap and say, it's you.
It's you. It's always been you. Want to give the world our love in perfect harmony.
We find each other again.
And one of the kids sneezes and there's a giant snot bubble.
I mean, that feels accurate.
Yeah, and then that's like how their reconnection happens. And then
She has a
tasting floor.
she has a napkin for the child, and she rescues the child from his gross snot.
I think
God.
like I think we're gonna play with some of those like stereotyped gender parenting roles. So
He's
she
got
got
the
suckered into it. She's like, I hate these kids. And he's like, let me care for you. Just change things up a little bit.
Admittedly, that sounds like me. I would never want to chaperone a field trip.
I like kids. I would still never want to chaperone a field trip. But, we're working with Coke, so.
There you go.
Then they could just have this beautiful, like, day date where they go to the different areas of the world of Coke. And so they learn about the history of bottling and they hold hands. And then they go into the, like, Santa memorabilia, make out a little bit. And then, I don't know.
I'm totally for this. I'm almost ready to ignore the fact that Coca-Cola is a war criminal corporation, and I'm ready to get this money, guys. Like, let's just ignore.
No, we'll just make it up. We'll do like the world of RC Cola Museum.
As far as I know, RC Cola is not problematic and hasn't started any wars in South America.
And they
as far as I know,
warehouse, but maybe it's a field trip to the warehouse. Let's explore this. I feel like we've got there's some options here to play with.
Definitely.
We're ready for sponsors, I think.
I don't know that we are.
As I pour my box wine. Wait a minute. Rosea, it's a perfectly chilled rosé that comes in a box. It's from Chile, and it's fruity and rosy.
But now say it like a puppet.
I'm going to be thinking about this puppet for the rest of the day. I'm gonna just
the rest of my life.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, on that note.
Yes. Well, before we close, you guys know what time it is, so everybody give me your best How to Fail at Flirting pose. Oh, wait. Set it up again. Hold on a second.
You like how I did that quickly?
Yeah. But I was not ready, so let me just get it again. Okay. 1, 2, wait. Got it.
Well, thank you all for letting me co-opt our brunch discussion today. We covered a lot of ground.
We did.
There's a lot happening.
Have a fantastic week.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving. Make sure you tune in all next week for all the events that Denise is having with her book debut. It's going to be fantastically awesome.
It should be fun.
We'll see you guys not next weekend, but hopefully the weekend after.